Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Driving Perilously, the show in which we turn the radio and talk about what it is that we find. What we find today is me turning off the radio and being in an old neighborhood and reminiscing a little bit. I am at Forest Hill Boulevard and Jog Road, which is very close to where I used to live during high school, and a little before and a little after, or where I would come home from college. And some firsts, of course, happen while you're in high school. So I'm thinking about some of the changes that have happened in this neighborhood. Remembering when the shopping center called Riverbridge was woods. Remembering when the street that I lived off of, Purdy Lane, P-U-R-D-Y, didn't go all the way through to Jog. The road was constructed while I lived nearby, and then there was a barricade there, and so we could go play tennis on that road because there was no traffic, and then it was removed and now it goes through. So just lots of changes since that time and now. Got some gospel music. Here we've got Legends 100.3.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from Mattress Firm, dedicated to providing...
That tone of voice captured in Saturday Night Live when they would do the NPR voiceovers.
Campbell, maker of Metamucil, a fiber supplement containing psyllium, a plant-based fiber for trapping and removing waste in the...
Okay, a plant-based fiber formulated for trapping and removing waste. Okay, if you said that as part of commercial, you'd say it differently than how she just said it. Is that to pretend like what she's doing is not a commercial? Is anyone fooled? What is the point there?
The region is trying to recover from a series of devastating Pacific storms that battered the state for nearly 3 weeks.
And that tone of voice, the newscaster's tone of voice, which battled the state for nearly 3 weeks. I mean, she could have said anything. Which battled the state for nearly 3 hours. Which battled the state for nearly 3 years. Which battled the state for nearly 3 decades. There's no context. It's just trying to make something sound big. So two very, very, very popular ways of talking for people who get paid to talk. Not those particular people's. They're just doing what they're paid to do. But who's paying them to talk like that? Why don't we just say what we mean?
As much as I possibly can.
What's it called?
MILF Manor has finally launched.
Aw, Barry Gibb. Was it a video? I don't know. Somewhere his name came up today. And I was thinking about the Bee Gees and Barry Gibb and how his initials are BG, and how many Bee Gees were there? Were there 4 sometimes? Or did they take turns? Were there always 3 out of 4? Or what? But got some great music. It's so danceable, isn't it? And the stuff they did before Saturday Night Fever, some of it's just completely different. I mean, anybody who has had a long career has a lot of different songs, but it's so fun to go back and listen to decades of someone's catalog and see the things that have changed and the things that are consistent. Alright, so I'm doing a show, and we had an audience last night. It's just a weird show in that I sang my song to audition, but I didn't have to read any lines. Some people really, really wanted it and didn't get it, of course. I think we had lots and lots of people audition, so, you know, there you go. If lots of people audition, lots of people are disappointed. But the show is Guys and Dolls, and the legendary director, it seems that she got to pick the cast that she wanted, and she picked me. Yay! And we're playing the Mission Band, and the people that are in the Mission Band had big parts in the previous show. So we kind of came in after a month of rehearsals and have small parts for this one. But back to auditions. So some of the dancers auditioned, lady dancers, for the hot backs. You know, they're supposed to portray professional dancers in the time of gangsters in New York. Some of those auditioners were auditioned until 11:30 at night, twice, and then didn't get it. And for whatever reason, that's just what happened. And this particular theater has 3 opening night type experiences. I don't know what to call it, but they had an audience last night. I think we have an audience tonight, and then tomorrow is called opening night. So it's like 3 opening nights, kind of. Or we could call yesterday a dress rehearsal. But then what is today? Is today another dress rehearsal? It's today, who knows what it's called. Anyway, I'm privileged to be cast and to be on my way to what's either a performance or a dress rehearsal. But we didn't stop at all. It was a performance last night, and that's what I assume will be today. We also took photographs. I think there are 2 different articles coming out. I don't know if it's just publicity or if there are 2 articles about the Playhouse or something. I don't know. All right, let's see what else is on the radio. Legends 100.3
and increase your physical
has some
well-being.
ads.
Hi there, I'm Angela.
Harris. Construction is not considered a difficult career, though his union has been pushing to change that classification. He says making it to 64 is hard.
Yeah, 64-year-old construction worker. Yeah, I bet that was hard.
Effective non-drug option for kids.
That reminds me of something that has been talked about a lot of times, and I haven't come to a conclusion about how I feel about it. And it's, what's the actual term? It means where everybody gets a little income just for being around. Minimum income? Oh, what is that called? Ugh, I don't know. We need to know what the name of it is so you can Google it. But it's the idea that everybody gets some money so that people don't starve in the street, or that people who want to work but can't work get at least a little something. Is monthly monthly minimum income, and this is definitely the age of terms, because in order to look anything up you have to know what it's called. But there was somebody that ran for president with that idea. Vote for me, everybody gets a little money every month. And then Scott Adams talks about it a lot. I like to listen to him talk about issues. I discovered him in a video about cognitive dissonance. And I think we've all had the experience of conversations where the other person and you just are not talking about the same thing. Like you think you're refuting the other person's point, or they think they're refuting your point, but you're talking about two different things at the same time. And that's why we need terms, we need to know what in the heck we're talking about and give it a name that actually fits it. All right, so that the 64-year-old construction worker would be an example of someone who, as they're getting older, they work less and less, they make less and less money, and they need some kind of minimum something or a different job. There's Madonna. So that song came out when I was a junior, I think. Junior in high school. But definitely high school. And when she says, we might be lovers if the rhythm's right, I was thinking, what? You're supposed to be lovers if you're married. You're supposed to be lovers if you're in love. You're supposed to be lovers if you're destined for each other. And soulmates or true love or something, not if the rhythm's right. Scandalous.
Asking me that when I went to see you, she feels that my presence is very important for her, and that she's looking forward to when we can be together, because it's very difficult us not being in the same place.
To 2022 sell-off at Toyota of Hollywood.
There's another way of talking, right? What are we gonna call this?
Toyotas are arriving daily, so now we're selling.
Like they kind of sound like a Santa Claus in a Christmas special. Like, what are we gonna name this one?
32,023,775. Bring the treasure codes for more than 85 years.
He's kind of doing it too.
21 Ford F-150 America.
Kind of. A riff on it.
Favorites from the 80s, 90s, and more. And Gail, what's going on your cruise home at 5?
What's going on, Gail?
Listening to the radio and hoping to get some tickets for.
Let me guess, she won?
Accident at Turnpike North as you approach Martin Highway, so we're seeing heavier than usual congestion 95 North.
That's a
So east of Lyons, Boca Raton accident.
a way of talking that I think we could do without. Or you have somebody who
This report is.
isn't trained to talk radio talk, but then they put music behind them to kind of cover it up, and it just makes them sound less professional. There's this one channel